You have people listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, on this planet ever. Maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils Tavakoli inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nanotechnology, the nanomaterial which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano, and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid. It's very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now you can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it. You are structuring it. And from today, we will be still the same. We'll still develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other belief are working together to build up systems. We have already become one faith. We already have become one nation, and we already become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar, or tomorrow is the beginning of another. One day is connected to another. We don't stop. We are working around the clock. The Keshe Foundation team is working irrespective of time, position, religion, country. And now we achieve what we set out for.
Welcome everyone to the 97th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace. It's Tuesday, November 26, 2019. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department, part of the Public Teachings in English. I'm one of your hosts today, Rick Cremont, and along with Flint Mulhausen. And of course, as usual, we're joined with Ms. Carolina Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I think she's ready to begin today's workshop. Hello, Carolina, are you there?
Yes, hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you, Rick, for inviting me. Thank you, Flint, for being the co-host or the host. I do not know, sometimes you switch your roles and platforms and all the other ones which are supporting this platform. Thank you, knowledge seekers. We are going on a different journey today, as we have had a meeting with the Universal Council support members, and we have started opening up the mandate of the Universal Council. What does that mean? It means we already have taken part of it quite a while ago, before we start opening the commandments again. And this time, as I expressed last week, we have chosen the topic, the military. So the teams are working to create a beautiful guideline to offer as a gift to the governments when the changes start taking place with the signing of the World Peace Treaty, as this is our target, to open it up and see where we can find the resources, how to redeploy actually a world on its own. A military world is a world existing next to ours, and with its own expertise, and it functions like a world. So instead of it to allow it to carry on existing the way and the shape and the form it is today, which we are all suffering with, the wish is to change, the wish is to make it peaceful. And we have different options coming up on the table, how to create that in reality. Because I always remember through the teaching of Mr. Keshe, he says, when you start opening a topic on the table, you enlighten souls, you inspire souls to start going into that direction. That was also the reason of my advice for the older council members to start opening more and more the mandate, the topics, and to go to choose a function in the mandate that attracts you, that you say, I can do something with this. Or I can open it up, or I can introduce it somewhere. And then to bring it on the table in the meetings with the councils and the support councils. So when the time is right, when the time is ready, because we create that kind of direction for it to be ready, that it becomes in a beautiful document and not only in a wish, but that we manifest it, that it leaves its traces in the matter state world. For the ones who are not connected with the Keshe Foundation, don't know our existence, don't know our whereabouts, but the souls know that they can find the truth or the conversion or the application or the change of direction in what we can inspire them to do the best and take the best out of it. So I think a few council members, support members have already something to share with you today. So I invite them on the table today. Anybody ready for today's platform? Is Peggy there or Andreas? Andreas cannot speak, I think.
Yes, hello to everyone. I'm here. I have summarized the meeting to create a beginning guideline that we know what is it about, and yeah, from this point on we can all work together and create that guideline for the demilitarization. If you want, I can read it.
Yes, sure. Go ahead, Andreas.
Okay. It is our desire and task to protect all beings and create global peace, which is anchored in the Universal Council mandate. This is the starting point of our opening up the topics in more detail to create a demilitarization protocol. Beginning from the UC mandate, the area of operation, protection of beings and global peace, we have the points: justice for all beings, establish equality for all life forms. The true purpose of serving citizens is calling up for global demilitarization. Redirect and guide global military for peaceful humanitarian services. No borders and only an ID card with providing name, date, place of birth. Request mandatory signing of the World Peace Treaty by all citizens and visitors before receiving the new ID card. And for us, the three main points are, for a first step, very important: the justice for all beings, establishing equality for all life forms, or that the true purpose of serving citizens is calling up for global demilitarization, and to redirect and guide global military for peaceful humanitarian services. And from this, I created a little what is the demilitarization protocol about? By increasing the field strength of peace on this planet, more and more soldiers will forget why they are doing so and lay down their weapons. In this process, many soldiers will become unemployed, and the military, as well as governments, will face unprecedented challenges. We, the Universal Council, and all other participants develop and offer solutions to the governments and the military and support them in the process of transforming the military's previous service into total peaceful humanitarian services. Through the Earth Council, the manifestation of our solutions gets supported and takes shape. How do we develop the demilitarization protocol? Our goal is to complete the demilitarization protocol by January 2020, then present it in the One Nation, One Planet, One Race, and send it collectively to the governments. In brackets I have, similarly, a protocol can also be drawn up and included for unemployed and imprisoned people. Then here I have points support with the knowledge of field strength. I haven't summarized that, but I think it's okay when I read it. The ground with the world leaders is prepared, which are involved in the Keshe Foundation work and signing the World Peace Treaty. We can deliver them the solutions and create the wishes for it. We are creating the document when the shift starts, that the governments have something where to look. We are the change. When we start working, we start creating. Now we open the mandate and see where we can open it up and put it into the meta state. We are the creator. You only release the wish with the field strength for which purpose it serves. We are creating for them to find the solutions. The field strength of us works faster because we are working on it. The soldiers or veterans will respond in the right moment. When a soldier cannot trust in his equipment and loses control, he goes out. They will appreciate it and also will be thankful to get a job because they will have no one anymore. We have not to re-educate them, they are already educated. We just have to change where they use their education. All what they have can be used for a good purpose. We give them a different purpose to serve. Then we have different development tools. And internally, you see internally, we created a Google Drive folder where we summarize or collect all informations and also develop the protocol. And for the collection of knowledge, we have different sources like the meeting here, the One Nation, One Planet, One Race meeting. And everything what is brought here on the table and which fits into the topic is then collected in the Google Drive folder. We have also parts of the teaching where Mr. Keshe speaks about different topics about the demilitarization and all what is happening. For example, Tom Sellers is an ex-soldier too, and he was balanced, or he balanced himself too with the knowledge of plasma science and technology, and was able to create a protection field around his house. And so we could bring in this example in our guideline and protocol. We can also use pictures and videos which fit to the topic from different sources. We have only to look for the user rights if we are allowed to use them. Then we have definitely the World Peace Treaty, which has to be brought in. And we have the possibility to work all together, like here in the meeting, or also outside of the Keshe Foundation in connection with, for example, UC members or support members. And everyone can join together in groups according to the area of interest in order to facilitate better coordination. A list is kept. So we can create individual structures for information gathering and elaboration. We can meet with UC members or work with students from the language groups. Everyone is welcome to participate in the project. So whoever wants to do something, contact us, and we write it in a document to know who is working on what, so that we don't cross our works. And then we had a brainstorming what we are talking about and collected ideas and what are possible research tasks. And a main topic is the military conversation, the conversation of the soldiers itself. And there I wrote down questions, how we redirect soldiers away from the military, how we can create a structure for them to change to other jobs, how many soldiers do we have worldwide, in which countries are very much soldiers and in which countries they could be used, which countries are short of what, like Italy is short of capable doctors or nurses, so we can replace them with military doctors and nurses, where are, for example, disasters and so on. And we don't have to forget in the military, and I had a look in the Austrian military today, what is it about, what they are doing. We have a lot of people in education. Education is a very big part. Of course, we have a medical part in every military. Transport is a big topic. They work in at airfloat or at marines. So that means in the air or on the ground or on the sea. So we have an enormous capability to convert. And another main point is, for example, the recycling of useful military materials, equipment and other things. We can basically recycle everything. A ship can be dismantled and the toilets, computers, metals, kitchen equipment, cables, beds, bullets, and so on can be used elsewhere. So can be converted and used elsewhere. There we wrote the example that ships are a lot of times in areas of heavy rains where the people there often don't have good houses or something like that, so we can convert the ships into houses too out of the materials. Yes, and that are some notes and ideas and what we can do, which different research tasks and solutions we can develop. And now it's up to us to speak about it here or in other groups, to work on it and bring all together. That was my part to now. Thank you.
Thank you, Andreas. Anybody else of the council or the support councils have worked on it? I see Doc McDonald had his hand up, but it's gone down in the meantime.
No, I'm still here, Carolina. I'm
okay.
still here. And I've been working on it also. I thank Andreas very much for taking those notes and making those, putting it all together. I've also put something together, and if I may, I can read what I've done. That's
Sure.
all right.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you. Under the heading of Demilitarization Protocol, I started with a preface, and I wrote, as the world has evolved beyond aggression, warfare, and armed conflict. Sorry, as the world has evolved beyond aggression, warfare and armed conflict are now obsolete. So also are weapons of war. Relevant military assets can now be converted to peaceful applications. Personnel can be redeployed into civil service, and military expenditure can be redirected to beneficial projects for humanity and all life on Earth. Then I've got a heading, number 1, knowledge in exchange for peace. As world leaders have signed the World Peace Treaty on behalf of their nations, This brings to life a new ethos for all citizens. We are here to serve and not to be served. This ethos applies equally to all, as we are now one nation, one planet, one race, working in harmony together to correct past mistakes and build a bright future for our children and grandchildren, free from artificial divisions of race, religion, politics, or creed, sharing knowledge across the entirety of this beautiful blue planet. Number 2, military assets. Once weapons systems have been removed or repurposed, many assets such as air, land, and sea vehicles can be put to use in rapid response to natural disasters, rebuilding damaged infrastructure, delivering essential supplies of medicine, food, water purification, and power generators. Access can be gained to remote or otherwise difficult to access areas, etc. Communication systems for command and control are built into much of this inventory. Evacuation of injured or homeless people to safe zones where emergency hospitals and accommodation have been erected, or to the nearest unaffected towns and cities. Their diversity in size and capability means they can be deployed internationally if required. Many emergency response organisations thus gain a huge boost to their operations without need for huge expenditure. Number 3, personnel. Military personnel are highly trained across a wide range of skills. Well-disciplined, mentally and physically fit, they are natural leaders or teachers in many fields. It requires only a change of perspective to see how easy and simple this transition is. Simply by keeping the personnel with the assets they have already been trained to operate, or can quickly be retrained as needed, you have a perfect combination for peaceful purposes without loss of career or purpose. Number 4, plasma science and technology. The Keshe Foundation is the largest, most advanced plasma science research and development organisation in the world. Keshe Foundation is currently delivering breakthrough technologies along with teaching and manufacturing facilities in cooperation with world governments across all continents in equal measure. These technologies provide profound but relatively simple and inexpensive solutions to a raft of previously intractable problems that we have faced worldwide. Successful field tests in agriculture, clinical trials in natural disease processing, reversal of pollution or contamination in air, land, and water environments, clean energy production and transportation, all backed up by irrefutable scientific data accumulated over 40 years, show the efficacy of this technology. Some aspects of this plasma technology are completely new to science, whilst others add seamlessly to existing technology, making for a non-disruptive transition. We stand ready to provide all assistance required. That's where I finished.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Andreas. Thank you, everyone. That is open to any amount of editing. I put it onto a program called Text Edit, and I have no idea how to remove it or send it to other places or whatever, but that can be discussed. I've got my IT guru, Flint, will help me probably with that, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I can help you with that, no problem.
Thanks, Flint.
It has to go to the platform for next Friday, this Friday coming. when the UC and the Universal Council support members having their meeting to open this topic further and to open new doors on the mandate. So I invite more knowledge seekers to go and open the doors of the mandate so that we can start putting them on a platform, pardon, so that we can start creating an insight with solutions, with not dream solutions, but literally a beautiful way in converting the energies into the right direction. Anybody else?
I was just going to say, Carolina, when I was writing or typing, I was thinking that the world leaders had already signed the peace treaty, and that the process was already in operation. You know, that was the thinking because of what you've sent out as far as making wishes is concerned, to think in terms of it already being done, and that, you know, any protocols are there, they're already, the process is already done, but you know, these guidelines are part of that process, but it is done, it's finished, the world is at peace. And you know, I think that's very powerful myself.
Yes, a lot of, I've circulated 2 videos. One was gifted by John Welsh, and that led then to another council member sending me, I can't remember exactly, it was in the German group that they put my attention. It was English spoken but subtitled in German, and it is beautiful how you suddenly take knowledge, and that is how the beauty works of the inspiring, how things come together to get through that mayhem of not understanding how to create a wish, or to be sure that the wish will be working, or you're not sure of something. And the second video, unfortunately, we don't have the right to post it here or to play it in public domain. We played it in the private teaching, so for the ones who didn't see it yet. But the second one was extremely intriguing. That was, there was a drought, and a bad drought. And I had the same wish from in Brazil. If the person is present in the northeast of Brazil, they haven't had months and months, no rain. And the farmers are suffering. So he explains, he says, to understand how to make a wish, I have to tell you a story. So I'm just going to repeat his story for you to understand how to stand within a wish. And that is, he was invited to somewhere, and he explained his wish, what he wanted. And the person, you can look at him as like a shaman. I don't remember the place, but I think it was an Indian person. He went outside, he opened his hands, he stood still for a few seconds, he closed his hands, and he came back to me. And he said, that's all? He said, yeah, it doesn't need any more. He said, but can you explain? So the shaman explained. They opened their hands. He says, the beauty in a wish is you have to surround yourself with the wish. So this wish for the water was, he says, I just feel the rain on my face. I hear the water falling down. I feel my feet standing in the mud because there is water. He says, that is how you manifest. And that was the story. And then he says, when I was driving home, 1 hour or so after I arrived home, it started raining and raining and raining. He said it would not stop. And he called the shaman and he said, but now we have so much, it's too much. He says, that's the only thing we never figured out how to control the amount of water we will receive. So that is the beauty within when I say you have to be in it. That dream, that has to be already established, because you cannot manifest something that doesn't exist. That's why I remember when Mr. Keshe says, when you say I want, it doesn't work. You have to experience what you're creating. So it has to be in existence around you. And as he said, you have to envelop yourself. You have to surround yourself. You have to be within it. And this is the link of the understanding when I say don't put anything in your wish what you don't want. Because it goes against in what you're about to create. So maybe these little stories and inspiring messages from so many other ones will put us on the right track for so many knowledge seekers to understand how to complete a wish on your own. So if you want rain or anything you want, you make sure you smell it, you taste it, you feel it, you sense it. And it's always serving a purpose. And that purpose was for the rain to come, to bless the land. You don't change anything, because Mr. Keshe said you can never change. We had this very much at the beginning. You can't change a storm, but you can reflect in a different way on it. So for the ones in Brazil and the ones which are present today in our platform from Brazil, they know where that area is. Maybe it will bring you the gift to change it. Anybody, any experiences with this kind of change through your wish? And I'm very glad that Douglas, you mentioned it, that you seen when you were writing it, you saw the change. You saw that it was already done. Because if you see the peace and you see the conversion of how they now would behave and how you position them in their behavior, you are establishing the wish. You establish the connection of the correct path. We are on a beautiful journey, and we have started this journey 3-4 years ago when it started in China with the signing of the World Peace Treaties. It's amazing. So I would please invite all of you to pen down and create where you want to bring the change in its full beauty, and just make it to work for what it should serve and how it can serve. I was just going through a few posts in the Portuguese, Brazilian Telegram chat room, and it was Marcos Minas that posted them there. I would advise to put them in a Google Doc, that they are smaller so people can upload them easier, because these texts are coming from the transcribers from Mr. Keshe, and it's amazing. Even in that part of the teaching, Mr. Keshe tells you that when you're in pain and you feel suffering, you're too far away from your pivot point, from your soul point of reference. that everything is okay, and that you just put everything into the light of everything is okay. You can shed a tear when you lose somebody, but you don't need to lose yourself within it. That you stay closer to your field strength of your soul. I was just reading through it. And this is also the connection with the wish in those ways that this gentleman brought them forward. We can share it in the background to one another. Do so with a lot of pleasure, because you can learn and pick up a lot of tricks how to create your wishes and how to establish them. So, has anybody else worked on a different topic of the mandate, or still on the same topic of the military police? Or any inputs or sharing from your side? Pardon. We're gonna stay quiet today? I hope not. It's gonna be very fast finished if we're staying quiet. Rick, how many teachings of the One Planet, One Nation, One Race do we still have? 3 more to go?
To make 100?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we have this one, the 98th, 99th, and then it'll be the 100th. Yes.
Before we go on holidays?
Oh. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which day do we.
13th of December, we stop.
So 1, 2.
Oh, we only have 2 more.
2.
Yeah, it'll be 99. Will be on.
Wow, that will be a magical number.
Yeah, 99 is on the 12th. Sorry, 10th of December.
I think the 99th would be on the 3rd, wouldn't it?
Well, today's 97. Next week, the 3rd is the 10th. Is the 98, and then 99 on the 10th.
Oh yeah, it's on the wrong calendar.
That will be a magical number.
We'll have to remember the 100th name of God.
That will be starting in January then.
Or maybe after 99, you go back to 1, because maybe it's only one name.
The totality.
Yeah, we'll be on break from the 13th to the 13th.
Yeah, I'm making sure I'm mentioning it, that the knowledge seekers know that this classes, the private classes, and only the platform of Rick and Mr. Keshe will carry on. Rick is in the morning Wednesday, and Thursday morning is Mr. Keshe, and the rest goes, as we say, to sleep or to rest till next year. When do we restart, Flint, next year?
14th of January. It's a Tuesday, and that'll be number 100.
14th of January. But actually, we start earlier. We start on the
13th.
On the
I mean the 1P, the next 1P after December 10th.
Yeah, One
So
Planet.
it goes December 3rd, December 10th, and then January 14th. But the private classes start up on the 13th of January.
Thank you. That's noted for the knowledge seekers. Please keep it in mind. We take a rest, we take a break.
From 13th of December is a Friday, so it's actually from the 14th of December to the starting up on the 13th of January. So exactly a month there.
Anybody else? Thank you, Pia. Yes, if you can bring the platform up from the wishes, please, Rick. We have a wish to create in a response of the call of Mr. Keshe. And please do, if you're not a private student yet, Peggy is posting it out, how you can apply to become a private student. We have a Pandora box of beauties, so it's very tempting, or I'm trying to put the temptation out to become a private student of the Keshe Foundation. You can go and swim and deepen yourself in so much more knowledge than just the public platforms. There is so much more there for you to learn and to go and explore and to be inspired with. The wish we want to position today is, as we have understood from the wish from the the displaced people and the refugees, that no matter where they are, they receive from our field strength. In this case, we will create this type of wish for the children which are missing, that they find the strength and the positioning to speak up, to reach out, so that they can be located. So we give them the strength to our soul, which means we position ourselves and we see them, as we would say in an English term, we see them coming on the surface. We see them emerging from wherever they are. So if you can create the wish for us, Rick, that would be very nice. I see you're structuring the wish by date and place.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find my place here. Actually, I think I've got it now. So, going to
it's okay. It gives people time to think how to create this wish. And the best way is the same as to keep that vision of that creation of that shaman, with the rain. You see the children going back home, seeing the parents getting notified to bring that peace among those families, that they know where their children are. We give them the voice to speak. And the field strength. And children are not only in the small form and shape, but also the adults that have disappeared. So all the souls that have never made it back home or are missing for their families, they're all under the same category, because something has happened to them and the families do not know what. So we all are in that field strength to give them that peace, to know where they are. How can we start this wish, please? Anybody?
Well, we often start with, we give from our soul. Would that be appropriate?
Yes, we give from our soul. We are present in this wish. Has anybody any experience with this kind of situations of missing children? We're gonna have.
Sorry,
Yes.
Carolina, go.
No, it's okay.
Thank you. Just currently in Australia at the moment, there's a huge amount of focus on what they call cold cases of missing persons, whether adult or child, and the relevant police departments are opening the books on all of these as they go. They're opening up all these cases and going back over all of the evidence, all of the information, all of just forensically going through all the leads that were given. Some of these cases are 40 years old, and they're still open because there's no result. So it just coincidentally that is a very big focus at the moment, and there are court cases being opened because of new evidence that's been uncovered, and many parents who have never seen their children after their last conversation, they just walked out the door or got on a bus or were playing even in their yard, disappeared, just disappeared. No trace, no information. But now there's a great effort to try and bring all of this information together in these cases to be re-examined. And my wish would be that there is success in all of those cases where the information can be given to the grieving parents. It must be horrible for the parents not knowing that they just lost their child, just disappeared and never heard of, never again. So it is very important, this, and I just thought I'd bring that to everyone's attention, that that's currently a focus at the moment in the police services of Australia, that they're looking into these matters to try and resolve these unsolved missing persons situations.
Thank you. So we got to give from the level of the soul. Then we can create a second wish to support like these investigators so that they find the strength and the enlightenment to find those people, to solve these cases. We can support them as well. And all these efforts have come, which is very funny because Mr. Keshe called out for this, and now we see this emerging. So there is a change, and we can support this change very heavy and in all its beauty. So anybody wants to carry on with this wish for the children?
I'd like to kind of, excuse me, let me get my other microphone going. I'd like to kind of flesh it out a little bit with the work that's been going on in Canada in that regard. And perhaps I can just show briefly there's a Wikipedia entry that I'd like to bring up here, and we can have a look at it. And it might help, I'm thinking it might help give some clues how to proceed in this whole matter. Get it Didn't share properly. There we go. Okay, this is called the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women. It's even been shortened to MMIW. It's an epidemic and is an issue currently affecting Indigenous people in Canada and the United States, specifically in this case. It's been described as a Canadian national crisis and a Canadian genocide. So the government's put, after repeated calls, has made this inquiry into what's been happening with this, with the missing and murdered Indigenous women. And in particular, there's one particular highway that had a lot of deaths occur, a lot of missing people went missing on that particular, in that particular area, but it's also all across Canada. And people can have a look, we can give the link and you can have a look at it, how they address this, this historical wrong, you might say. They had to address it and what they did in order, the history on all of that. Now, there's just one thing I wanted to read in particular in the final report that just came out last June 3rd, 2019. It says, throughout this report and as witnesses shared, we convey truths about state actions and inactions rooted in colonialism and colonial ideologies built on the presumption of superiority and utilized to maintain power and control over the land and the people by oppression and in many cases by eliminating them. That's from the final report of the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. That was page 54. And basically, this is the inquiry's chief commissioner with these comments. So I thought that was pretty significant. And so anyways, it summarizes and talks about all the different aspects of what this means and what this inquiry is all about. And I'm thinking that might be sort of an outline that for a plan of action in other places on this planet that are experiencing somewhat or exactly the same type of conditions. And we do see the, in particular, the Aboriginal movements around the world are very aware of this and are cooperating with each other and forming alliances and so on to reduce this this problem in the world. Okay, so I'll give the link for that to that and put it in the chat, and perhaps we can go back to our wishes here and try to formulate the wish that's involved. So is there some input on how we are to formulate this wish?
I was thinking that we say that all missing persons find their way home.
Not really, darling.
Okay.
Would you care to elaborate, Carolina?
I what?
Would you care to elaborate on that a bit? Not really, darling. Doesn't quite say it all yet.
You want me to create the wish?
Well,
And-
what was it about Doug's interpretation that didn't
because
quite
you
ring
put exactly
right
what
for you?
you put exactly what you don't want. You accentuate the condition. Remember the rain. It has to be slightly different.
That all missing persons are at home.
Uniting families,
Yeah.
not missing.
Yeah. Right.
We
Yeah,
give,
yeah,
we give
yeah.
from our soul and are present in this wish, in uniting, uniting families with the, pardon, with their lost ones, with their loved ones, sorry. Then it doesn't matter who lost who, or in what condition lost who, or we don't use the words of pain. We use uniting is beauty. Families is beauty. Loved ones is beauty. Because if you remember how I explained, how the gentleman explained the wish, how he accomplished it was, he just had rain. He just felt the rain, he smelled the rain, he stood in the rain. So how much more beautiful can you establish a wish when you only pour the existence of the beauty to come on the surface? So uniting is a beautiful thing. Families is sacrosanct. Loved ones, in this beauty, we cannot wish for more. It's very simple. You just smell rain, you see rain, you feel rain, and you stand in the rain. Because that is the reality. You see the loved ones, you see the families, and you see them uniting. That's how simple you can work. Because you all can see children walking home or receiving messages where they are, how they are. That is also in that kind of point of reuniting, because they receive the message. You see it traveling and you see the change in the families. That's all you need to do. That's how simple a wish is. Because you don't want to put nothing that is not feeling so right in the wish. I always try to give that kind of advice. The second wish, if everybody is okay with this one, I am present.
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 No, not my name, darling. The core team, the Earth Council, Universal Council supporters, and the knowledge seekers. why I am pardon, why I am including the core team, the Earth Council, the Universal Council, and the Universal Council support members and the knowledge seekers is because we are working together. We are already connected with the platform of the Ethos of the Keshe Foundation because of the position we have chosen to serve. And instead of saying I am present, oh yeah, we are present. For the next wish, we can start with the same topic. And now we can see or put down that the investigators are successful in solving their, what do you call them, these cases? Cold cases. We have to change that one as well. That name. In solving their we give from our soul, are present in the wish. In the investigators are successful in
Carolina,
yeah.
may I ask a question regarding cold cases? If we just turn this around, the successful, the investigators
are successful in cases.
Are closing, are successful in resolving and closing all cases. Successful in resolving and closing all cases.
Yeah, because I don't want to use cold cases. It's just that I wanted to use a pivot point. Thank you very much, Peggy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So we start the same way, Rick. You can copy the top. And yeah. We give from our soul and are present in this wish. The investigators, not that the investigators are successful in resolving and closing all cases and uniting the families uniting their families.
How about let's see, I was going to say reuniting and it was a balancing and it just came and went, and I'm sorry, Carolina, it'll come back to me.
It's
okay, don't
about
worry.
more than uniting families, because sometimes they'll have to deliver the bad news that someone's been killed or something like that. But at least that gives the family closure, right? So it's not just maybe the families are united through the knowledge that at least they know what's happened. That's the biggest thing for most of these families. They don't know what's happened, and that's left hanging. And at least if they knew that someone passed or that they are alive somewhere, at least they have that information. Go ahead, sir.
And closure of the unknown can be posted like this. It's just playing with what can be positioned there. Enclosure of the unknown. or in delivering the closure of the unknown. Because we have strengthened the souls of the families and the ones which are involved. But we now are also covering the people which are doing all this work to establish this, because they will need the field strength as well. Anybody, any ideas? Yes, totally. I know.
Hello, Carolina and everyone.
Yes.
It's Pia here.
Pia.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question. Can this enhancement unit come into consideration for this situation that all the involved families and children and people which are traumatized, or can they go through the process with the enhanced unit?
Why not, darling?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Maybe we could include this possibility, because there's so much healing need to be done.
Oh, that will come. Don't worry. I have another part to come on the table that people will understand how to position that. Maybe that was the reason why Marcos posted it out today, and it caught my eyes before I just came into the platform. As actually they were playing the video, I was reading through it as fast as I could, because something told me we're going to need it today. Yes, Topoli, you're right. I always get the agreement of Topoli.
You think you wanted you to show you the video?
We can't.
Okay.
We don't have the right to do so. If somebody can speak with that gentleman and ask permission for it to be going public, although it is public, but we need permission in writing that we can show it on our public platforms. In private is no problem. You can share it freely among one another, because he brings a lot of different views, and he's also the voice from the first one, which shows where they have found in the scrolls what they took out of the Bible today, which people couldn't work with it. And then you have the teachings of Mr. Keshe, which are intertwining, and all our work together now for 3 years, working on the souls and on the wishes, we get more and more additional information how to put it complete. That's why I'm so careful when I'm making wishes. I make sure only the beauty is in there. So in this wish, we give from our soul and are present in this wish. The investigators are successful in resolving and closing all cases and uniting the families and delivering the closures of the unknown. And I think that wish is complete. To my understanding, it must be, you can see these detectives with that, although it's a burden of pain, but it's a message of relief. And you see them walking to the houses and contacting the family and the members involved to bring them news. It's always a relief to know what has been unknown for so long. So I am definitely present in this wish. And again, you can please connect the core team, the Earth Council, because it went on public platform, this call out from Mr. Keshe. And that's why I wanted to make sure that this wish comes on the table regarding those, as Mr. Keshe says, our soul will position itself for the children to speak. Children means we're all children of the Creator. We are the Creator. And this is a beautiful wish. I am present.
I am
I am
present.
present.
I am 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 present. I am present.
Now, because we are opening the topic of the military, can we create the wish for the military, please? And in what shape or yes?
We had G-Man had his hand up here for a while. Perhaps we should hear from him before we continue here. He may have said something to add.
Go ahead. I cannot always see the hands, Rick.
G-Man, would you like to go ahead? Oops.
Sorry, I raised my hand. Hello there. I raised my hand to say I'm present earlier, but I stayed up till now.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we can carry on. You say you want a new wish. And we start the same. We give from your soul present in this wish.
Yes, please. Please post the wish out as fast as you can. Even while you're in the teaching class, if you can be a multitasker, just make sure these two wishes, take a screenshot. If you haven't taken a screenshot, I'm already circling them around so they can start collecting the field strength we need to increase. And then we'll see, because we already are noticing the changes in the public world, that a lot of cases are cracking open, a lot of things. What you just brought to me, what is in the Wikipedia, is amazing how the countries are acknowledging what has been done wrong and how it's getting corrected. These are all, and a lot of topics which are in the mandate present. So please do post them out. You know that you collect the field strength of awareness and people know what you're talking about, because it's everywhere in the news. And people do appreciate and they do work and give, because you bring their thoughts to that focal point of attention. And as they're reading, in so many ways, because they also are reading, we are present, they are connecting with the wish. That's how beautiful it works. So can we work? Anybody, any idea how to start? Maybe with the same framework we give from our soul and are present in this wish. Douglas, maybe I can poke you.
Yeah, I just unmuted. Amazing. That all Military personnel are happily engaged in service to humanity.
Are engaging.
Are engaging or are engaged, meaning they've already changed. They've already been redeployed. They've already refocused into service of humanity.
Yep.
Was there more to it? I
Nope.
missed part there.
That's pretty
Are
good.
engaged in service for humanity. Okay.
Yep. That's all we need.
Plain and simple.
It's already done. What did they say? It's a done deal.
I am present.
Done deal. We are present. I am present.
I'm present.
I am 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 present.
Could we add happily engaged? Happily?
Nope.
No? Okay.
They can be grouchy as long as they're engaged.
Yes. We changed their path. Now, maybe we can create the wish, because now it's gone. I think the understanding has been established how fast we can focus. How can we write the wish for the world leaders signing the World Peace Treaty? Have we ever even covered this wish? We give from our soul and are present in the wish that each leader or head of state, I don't know how to address them. Does it has to be a state or each leader from each country or nation?
They're called world leaders. That's the sort of catch cry.
No, not only them, not only them. All the heads of states or all the ones which are in charge. It can be a prime minister, it can be a king, a president. It can be a military imposition, the one who runs the country. How do you give them the title? A leader of each country?
So maybe it's not just one leader that you're trying to focus on, but all of the governing bodies, the you call it.
Because I'm going from the point of understanding when the head of state, each whatever state, as a country or a nation, or the names are so variations that you don't know how to address each one individual. But if I say each head of state, which means each one who is responsible for a group or a community, signs the World Peace Treaty, as we have done.
in all levels of government, perhaps in all levels.
No, because then you involve the ministries, you involve the that expanse. It's the one who's responsible for his community because he's been elected. He's in that position of that responsibility for that country.
Can you just say national leader? Each national leader? This way it's the leader of each nation?
Yeah, maybe. If it covers it, yeah. I'm just looking for each one. Doesn't matter how small they are or how big they are, because even a tribe in the Amazons is not falling under the let's say President Trump or the Prime Minister in Canada or in Australia. They don't fall under those laws. They fall under their own law. So those are the ones I am reaching. Every single one. Because they have their own language, they have their own structure, they have their own way of living, and they need to be implemented in the signing of the peace treaty. So we give from our soul and are present in this wish. Remove that, please. And in the above as well, with the military. Yeah. Each national leader signs the World Peace Treaty.
Carolina?
Yep. Or signed the World Peace Treaty.
There we go. You got it. I was going to say, should that be signed? And then also, maybe it could say something along the lines of, and deliver a copy to each citizen.
Yep.
This way, you know, it shows that it has been signed and there's action being taken with what's been done. So it's done. It's done and it's acted on. Thank you.
Although it's signed by their soul, so it's kind of, that's the initial action, I guess.
Yes, but we are always confronted with the matter state. So it has to travel. Because automatically when they sign, they fall under they cover them. But as Peggy says, it's very nice to leave a paper trail.
So what should I add here again?
Peggy, go ahead.
And a copy be delivered to their citizens.
A copy
countrymen, or however you would say that to cover all different nations.
Has been delivered.
No. Is delivered. Is delivered
to the citizens. A signed copy. Yes. How's that sound?
Confirmation copy?
Maybe. What do you think, Rick?
I think it's good. Sure. It seems fine.
Can you read it, Rick, please?
Okay. We give from our soul and are present in this wish. Each national leader sign the World Peace Treaty, and a confirmation copy is delivered to the citizens.
Yeah. Upon their signing, it gets delivered. That sounds good. Thank you, Peggy.
Always most welcome, Carolina, and all.
I am present in this wish.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
I am
I am
present.
present.
I am present.
I am present.
I am
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
And I see Nikolai has his hand up. I'm not sure if it was to be present or to have a comment.
Yeah, that was to be present, but I also wanted to share something that I thought.
I am present.
You've got a bad connection there. It's hard to hear. You're breaking up.
Okay. I'll save it for later.
Okay.
Anybody else, any wish that comes to mind to work with? I had an encounter this afternoon. Actually, it was around lunchtime. The refugees that they are deploying in most of European countries like Italy, Germany, Austria. I have not picked it up anywhere else if they do it anywhere else, but they print a small paper that they stand on the Aldis, the shoppings, the Carrefours, the God knows what, big warehouses, small warehouses, and they try to get €1 or €2 for one paper. They stand whole day in that freezing cold because it's winter time now, rain, it doesn't matter, they're there because that's the only way they can bring some money in to buy some food, to buy something extra. They are supported with food, they are supported with shelter. When they stand with these papers, it means they are in a small community located somewhere. I was having some things that I wanted to pass on and I couldn't find a pivot point, and I definitely didn't want to put it somewhere in, as they call it, these shops where they collect everything that comes out of your homes that you, because you're moving, you don't need, or you change and it's still working, or they repair it and they put it back in the shop for a quite an expensive price to market it out again, instead of refurbishing and make it available for free. No, they put a price tag on it. And then you have the people which are standing outside, which are really short because they are in a refugee state. They cannot work. They can only stand there and give a small newspaper or something. It's, and I had a conversation with one when I went in. I said, and funny enough, those bags, I just put them back in my back of my car because I didn't know where to go with them. And I definitely didn't want to put them in the shops to be resold. I said, no way. And I went to where I thought they were, but there was no sign of them. So they've been lingering around, and I said, I have to find a solution for this. And today I said, where are you located? And he told me where he was. I said, can you carry things? He says, yes, no problem. I said, can I give you so you can take them home, not only for yourself, but for your, the group, the team you are? He said, yes, please. And as I'm giving him the bags, he's asking, are there any shoes in there? And he shows his feet, and he's in shoes which are definitely 1 or 2 sizes too small for his feet. And I thought, how am I going to solve this? Because I have no shoes in it. I said, there are no shoes. I said, are you here tomorrow again? He says, this is too calm. I can't come back here. There's no people coming in and out. Meaning, you know, I can't pick anything up that what I need. So I said, okay. He says, if you come back tomorrow, I will be here. I will come back. I said, I don't know what my program is tomorrow. I said, I will figure something out. And as I was going into the car, I thought, this is ridiculous. I said, I cannot come back. I don't have the time. How am I going to get this man a pair of shoes? So I went back and I gave him the money. I said, you go and buy yourself a pair of shoes. And he was so shocked. I said, yes, you just go and buy yourself a pair of shoes. I said, I don't need to decide what kind of shoes you're going to wear or when it's coming from a hand down from somewhere else. I said, enjoy it. He just got spooked. Please, people, pay attention to the people. They are not beggars. They are just in a position of displacement. Support them. What you can't use at home, if you can't give them money, just bring them something. They will take it back to where they are with 10, 15 or 20 people located, and they will share it among each other because they're all in the same boat and they are embracing it with love and care. Even you buy some extra food or whatever you can, we got enough under our roof to be able to share. Pay attention to the people which are standing in the cold and the freezing cold, because I have had conversation with each one of them when I come across them, and they all fled their country from all corners of the planet because of violence and in fear of losing their life. They're terrorized by certain groups and militias. They have to flee. They have no choice. Support them in either way. It's a call up for especially the site which goes into winter time. They are not there for and out of their own choice. Please pay attention to it. That little thing, that little kindness, that little word, even that little conversation, that they are somebody, they are a human being. They are a soul standing in front of you. And they are acknowledged that they exist, even if they stand in a position that nobody wants to know them. That would be very kind of all of you. And those changes can bring a big difference. Because they have something to go back, that they can talk to their unit. At least somebody spoke to me. At least somebody showed some interest. It brings the smile and the warmth feeling back to the group. They all inspire the others because they don't have to say how badly they've been treated or been disregarded, that they don't even exist. It's not right. So, shall we go to the next level of wish? Anybody, any desire to put a wish down where we can bring a big change? Anybody, any ideas? What do we want to change? What do we put in position of creating?
Hello, it's Pia.
Yes, Pia.
It's just a question. Maybe we have it in the wish with the military, but I just want to ask, could we protect the children and the refugees all the reproduce places on the planet with the military for the new tasks? Or is it in the wish already?
It is there, darling.
Yes. That's good to know. So we are moving in that direction.
We definitely are.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody, any questions of not understanding what more can be achieved through wishing?
We could create a wish for the health of the whole humanity.
I was thinking. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Addiction is a big problem in my part of the world, and I know it's all around everywhere. People are addicted to substances and various powerful drugs, whether they are pharmaceutical or whether they are so-called illicit drugs, whatever. And some of these substances create so much turmoil inside the person's physicality. So it just popped into my head, possibly we can address addictions.
That's interesting. I had the thought about bringing up mental illness and mental health. All of these are similar.
Yes, but why are they there in the first place without referring to the illness? Why without referring to the addiction? They are there because if you understand the teaching of Mr. Keshe, when two people in their physicality are creating a new soul, a new being, and they are lacking of the field strength, then you have, as we say, a crippled soul, which then is vulnerable because of all the condition it's been created in, as he explained and referred to Mother Earth or planet Earth or planetary system. It's consuming so much energy, so it looks to balance those field strengths more because it's continuously short. That's why addiction comes into place. The only way we can solve that kind of problem, I think, is by elevating the souls in their field strength so that they can rise above that lower field strength without having to refer to specific, because mental illness, addiction, the devastation, what we see, even the attraction of like the position with malaria and fevers and Ebola and all those kind of situations or conditions, you can call them, they are created because the magnetical point of the field strength is so low that it attracts the problem towards it, because it functions like a magnet. What it needs, it will attract it. So you can only change that condition by increasing the field strength that soul or magnetical point, or you create and you increase the field strength. That's the only way they can start finding, by this kind of elevation, the solution to their own problem. You cannot, it's the same story as Mr. Keshe came to explain with us, with the displaced and homeless people and the refugees. It's the same it's the same condition. You got to strengthen them from within so that they can walk out of it.
And that's exactly what they're doing in the cases of the way the Aboriginals in Canada and other groups around the world are treating things in the modern way. They go into either a ceremony or maybe a sweat lodge type situation and try to rejuvenate the spirit and the soul of this of the persons that are not just the victims but the perpetrators as well. And they go through ceremonies to try to connect them with their soul, with their essence. And that's where the true healing can start from, and not just some government program or just giving them money or some medicine or something. So this is very important. And again, I think the universal enhancement unit could be very instrumental in that process. It is like a little sweat lodge in a way.
Very nice, Rick. I had the thing that came to mind for me when I heard the word addiction come up is that I've had this explained before, that the opposite of addiction, or the solution in a way to addiction, is connection with other humans, with other beings, and that can elevate the soul of the individual who is in that position.
So, shall we start with the wish? We give from our soul and are present in this wish, elevating all souls because then we cover the animals, the plants, the whole environment of souls on this planet existing.
Elevating all souls, period? Is that the... Or do you want to specify something there?
I would not so much. I'm trying to find the beauty in the wish of the elevation.
And elevating also the earth herself, the living earth.
She's a soul. If you
Yep.
cover the souls, you cover
Yep.
all. It's just we give from our soul and are present in this wish, elevating all souls in their own individual beauty. Because it has to have a purpose to serve. What do you think? I see the first one coming up. I am present.
I was just going to say, I am present.
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 Carolina?
Yes.
I had put a wish in the chat that I'm wondering if maybe it's already incorporated with this last one that we just did. I had said, I give freely from my soul and am present in the wish that all people have the right to self-determination. Do you think that's covered in that wish?
We're not hearing you, Caroline, if you're speaking.
Oh, I moved my screen. I said, yeah, the most beautiful thing is that we position them in their own beauty. Nobody needs to change nothing for no one, because you cannot change or want to force. When the soul is happy in the position it is, you got to respect it, because everything is in its place where it should be. There comes that and funny enough, that was in that part which I said, Mr. Keshe brought it in his teaching. The reason why not to judge is when you're badly disturbed, it is because you're far away from your core point, from your soul. So your soul is, he explained it like being on an elastic. You feel that tension coming up. And if you can't reposition yourself, or you don't understand how and where to get it, that tension on that string, being so far away from your soul point of strength, creates conditions. So people have to ask themselves what is wrong, where it's wrong, and why it's wrong. And how can I reposition myself to go closer to the point? Because the difference is the sadness and the happiness. Why is it there when it's sad? And how you can convert it is to change the energy. It is what we create or establish or want to confirm that it is a reality, when actually it's just a processing. It's just going through a phase, and it's how we are going through that phase that will show that pulling or not pulling on our physicality. So when you don't feel comfortable and you're not comfortable, it means your soul is pulling for you to go back to the near point of calm without judgment. Judgment means when you start analyzing your whole surrounding, what is right, what is wrong, you waste a lot of energy. I'm trying to find out, maybe Raphael can help me. I know he's present. Is I missed the teaching. It's been, if Raphael, if you hear me, if you can go and have a look in the post of Keshe Brazil, where Marcos has posted these parts.
Yes, Carolina.
The last one, to which teaching is he referring to? Because then we can put the knowledge seekers to go and have a look, because it's a public teaching.
Yes, I'll check this now.
Thank you very much. So, who else has done any exploring into the mandate? And what have you discovered for yourself that you would like to work on? Anybody? Anybody wants to step forward from the council or the support councils? Have you opened any other aspects or topics from the mandate, please? Beside the military and the education? Anybody wants to shed a light on more of it?
Maybe I could just mention that one of the results of this inquiry into the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in Canada is a call to governments. It's called "It Calls for Justice for All Governments." Hello? And so some of the things they're calling for is, sorry, microphone open or something here. Is they're calling for, number one is to acknowledge the rights of Indigenous peoples in terms of their culture as an inherent right, and recognize Indigenous languages as official languages, make funds available to support the restoration of Indigenous cultures, create educational opportunities that incorporate Indigenous language, educate the general public and those within social services about anti-racism and anti-sexism, and implement social movements based on confronting stereotypes, and support the increase in representation of Indigenous peoples in media. So these things are being called for, and there are many changes occurring in various levels of government that are in line with some of these. And also there's the international human rights have called for Canada to take further action and so on as well. And that's currently being gone through in the court system in Canada. So it's nice to know that there is a series of actions that are occurring from all this being revealed.
Thank you very much, Rick. It's it's no coincidence. As you were reading this, I'm going to refer to something which is in the mandate, and that is creating peace through redistribution of all social resources, through hospitality and insurance and abundance of food, shelter, and establishing a thriving income per individual. If that respect is there, living in harmony, freedom of travel, equality, and respect of any differences in race, color, and origins, present and visiting from universal communities. This is in the mandate of the relations and communications. But one which stands out is through the beauty and experiencing how to serve, more volunteers will be inspired to take the part in this process. And then every individual needs to have access to the knowledge of how to reverse any condition through the understanding of the relationship between the soul and the physicality as taught by Mr. Keshe. And funny that people brought this part up in the wish because he confirms he can get rid of all addictions. It doesn't matter what, except one addiction, the paymaster, which is embedded in our RNA, is the addiction to reproduce, because without it, we don't exist. And he explains why the physical anxiety and the detection of its physical soul, which needs to be satisfied on the physical soul of the body of the man. And if it cannot satisfy it, it becomes addicted, because the soul of the body is aware of and that matching needs additional energy because it's on the Gans matter level, so you can subdue it, or you can increase it by a physical matter like sugar or chemical bindings, because it's a rapid release of energy in the structure of the body of the man. So there was the explanation confirmed, the lack of energy source. And then a quoting of Mr. Keshe. My soul is from the start like a white sheet of paper. From the very beginning, and challenges every task or test, as small as it might look. The physicality needs to pass through its physical conduct through choice between right and wrongs. I think we can go back to the part of the accomplishing through this, your wishes on the mandate, and adjust it a little bit more for it to make it in a simple form accessible for others. Because we adjust our papers as we are growing into the more understanding, better understanding. We have established 3 wishes in that mandate. Maybe you can write them down, Rick. I don't know if they are added to the charter, to the Wikipedia. Are you still there, Rick?
Yeah, just trying to figure out where to put that. Just add it onto the bottom here.
There are 3 wishes from the council, which can use some. We wish to elevate the souls of those who have the understanding of right and wrong, for them not to inflict any physical or other harm on any others. We wish to, my screen keeps on flicking, that's why I lose the words. We wish to elevate the souls of those who have the understanding of right and wrong, for them not to inflict any physical or other harm on any children. I cannot follow you because I don't have a double screen, Rick. Are you coping with my reading?
I've got, we wish to elevate the souls of those who have the understanding of right and wrong, that they do not...
For them not to inflict any physical or other harm on any children. The second one is, we create a protection field for the children who are not in a position to defend themselves. I'm bringing them back to the charter to be adjusted. You got that one?
Just a sec.
We create a protection field for the children who are not in a position to defend themselves.
We create a protective field for the children who are not in a position to defend themselves. Okay.
Yeah. Number 3, we wish to elevate the souls of those who have been victims of abuse to freedom from any suffering.
Sorry, could you give me that one again? We wish to elevate the souls
of those who have been victims of abuse to freedom from any suffering. Now, with what we have matured in understanding of the wishes, we can re-establish these wishes in a correct manner. We give from our soul and are present in this wish.
Second word, Rick, in number 3, wish, not with.
Thank you, Doug.
So with your understanding now, how can we reposition the first wish? Because we have a lot of elements in that wish, which with our understanding now today and our maturity in creating wishes, how can we reverse this wish? Anybody, any ideas? Hello.
Well, instead of saying for them not to inflict Our wishes don't work well when we ask for things to not happen, because that inevitably creates the thing itself. It attracts that energy.
That's why I am repositioning these wishes.
So, would you carry on with the first part? We wish to elevate the souls of those who have the understanding of right and wrong, but to create a different end for that, with like for them to
we can confirm that all souls have the understanding, the difference between right and wrong. Or our understanding, or carry the field strength of right and wrong. Anybody? We give from our soul and are present in this wish. All souls are elevated in the field strength of the understanding of the right and the wrong. We give from our soul and are present in this wish. All souls are elevated in the field strength of right and wrong, in the field strength of understanding.
Stop reading my mind, Carolina. That's exactly what I was thinking.
And work beautiful with this balance. Number 2, we create a protective field. We wish to elevate and are present. We wish to elevate the souls and are present in this wish with the first one, Rick? Yeah, okay. I was reading the old one. So underneath that one, we wish to elevate all the souls up. We give from our souls and are present in the wish. In this wish for the second one,
to create protective field for every child on the planet. field of love and care, maybe. Be a suggestion.
Children are connected through our protective field strength. We give from our soul and are present in this wish. Children are connected in their field strength to our protective field strength. Of love and beauty. Thank you for your hints, Pia. Anybody, any thoughts? We give from our soul and are present in this wish. Children are connected.
I'm present in this.
We give from our soul and are present in this wish. Children are connected through their field strength to our protective field strength of love and beauty. Let it rest for a minute and see what will come to mind when we go back to it. Third one, we wish to elevate the souls of those who have been victims of abuse to freedom from any suffering. We give from our soul and are present in this wish. Now I have to think to reposition this one. Anybody, any ideas?
Well, we have some words that are connected that we often hear, but we don't really realize how much meaning they have. We have victim, we have abuse and suffering, all in the same sentence. And so we need to free ourselves from that mindset in a way, to show the solution rather than the suffering, perhaps.
It's literally a repositioning this wish. It's not that they don't work, it's just the maturity of understanding, because our intent was correct to be there at that level of understanding. That's why we say the mandate, the charter, the documents, the wishes, as we are maturing, we will adjust them into the right context, in the right condition. And there's these three just past my view when I was going through the mandate. That's why I'm asking the knowledge seekers to go through the mandate and see what is no longer in a position, although this is a very recent document that has been drafted by the council. And we see already how we are maturing in understanding how to adjust it. And it's beautiful. And we do it all together. So this one says we wish to elevate the souls and see them free, happy and joyful. Because what is more beautiful than to set the soul free? And in the part, for what purpose? Happiness and joy. Because the above indicates what we don't need to use, we have to position them in an exactly opposite side. What do you think, Rick?
Yes, exactly. So how did you have that worded again?
We give from our soul and are present in this wish. We elevate the souls set them free in happiness and joy. Or happiness and joy is the same word, isn't it?
They were just different, slightly different aspects. They go along together, I think.
Because setting them free, we are releasing them from whatever was written above. Anybody, any thoughts?
I just think it's beautiful because it is moving them to the next step.
Yes.
It's really beautiful.
That's right. Every time you say the word victim to someone, you're resetting them back into that previous place where they were, basically. Whereas
Yes.
this is setting them free in happiness and joy, indicates a moving along from that position.
Yep. And if we just place under those three, the core team, the Universal Council, if everybody is agree with those three adjustments of those three wishes, then I am present.
We have Theodore with his hand up. Maybe he has a suggestion, or maybe just wants to say I'm present.
Yes.
Theodore, go ahead.
Hello.
Well, maybe either can't find the mute button or accidentally put his hand up, perhaps.
We have had this accident quite a few times today.
It does happen, yes, indeed. Okay, well, we'll let that go for now.
Yeah, Theodore still has his hand up. Just need to push up off your microphone, Theodore.
Dor had a couple of suggestions in the chat here as well. So.
Theodore?
Oh, there's Theodore and then there's Dor. I'm thinking Dor had the comment. Dor had a comment about the problem with the process of farming and hunting animals and elevations for their souls.
We need to elevate the humans more than the animals. But this will come in time, don't worry.
And actually, if you look at the last one we have here, we give from our soul and are present in this wish. We elevate the soul, setting them free in happiness and joy. It doesn't specify it has to be human souls.
No, that's what we also try to avoid.
Exactly. So in that way, we incorporate all the souls, whether they're the vertical people or the animals or the birds, plants, etc.
Yes. The reason why I brought up, and is a very important wish, is the one where Mr. Keshe explains, and I do advise all the knowledge seekers, please go back to where Mr. Keshe starts from, the teaching platform, Public Teaching 300. He is revealing a lot of information. Go back to it, please listen over and over again to it. We are already in 303, and Thursday we're gonna go in 304, and it's gonna go faster and faster in knowledge. So while you still have some spare time, please go back and listen to them again. There is such a huge amount of knowledge embedded in there, and there's so many beautiful messages for humanity, knowing what is coming and is bringing the change. The reason why I'm putting it up is because we will not achieve a certain point, or we can't have that pivot point changing until kingship is finished and every single leader has signed the World Peace Treaty. That I brought that, and I keep on repeating it. And also at the time of the BRICS, when we were in Brasilia, to create that field strength of the souls to step forward in signing the World Peace Treaty. See and visualize them signing the World Peace Treaty, because this will be the turning point for humanity, that the universal community will release so much more. That will actually bring the change. They are waiting for that to come into position, for them to go to the next step. And he has confirmed in one of the recent teachings that we are achieving, how does he call it? Majority. There's a specific word and I can't find it.
Tipping point?
The what? No, critical mass. We have reached critical mass, but now to, as you just said, tipping point, we have to achieve the signing of the World Peace Treaty. They are waking up. They are making the connections. A lot of negotiations are going on. A lot of balancing is taking place. But Mr. Keshe is relying on you, knowledge seekers. He's relying on all of us because we are the majority. It's us that will establish that change. If you haven't acknowledged your point of importance, as Mr. Keshe is always referring, we are all in it together. We can't carry it on our own. And we cannot go to the next stage if we don't established this first pivot point, them signing the World Peace Treaty. The fields are increasing. If you have listened where he's making the connections, why you're supposed to start walking away from your GAN stations and your nano-coating material and your creating of your MAGRA systems is to start to work through the field strength acknowledgement. To walk away from the matter state. It got brought up in Brazil again. Walk away from your ganses, walk away from your nano-coating. You have, what you have created is already connected. What you can do is donate your plasma waters in the rivers, the seas, and the fountains. Release them to increase the field strength even more higher. Your magraphs are in position, they are linked up. The star formations are linked up. The next step will be the health units or the enhancement. Sometimes I get troubled how to name it. I will just call them the new units. It will make it much easier. They will bring, because they are souls, they are created just the same way as your magraph system, star formations, and all whatever you have learned in the matter state. Those universal systems will start getting delivered from January off, and that will bring that higher field strength of connection. We all receive. Each soul that will walk through that system of processing, we all receive from that change. So knowledge seekers, visualize, you see your heads of states to walk, sit down, and sign the World Peace Treaty. Because if you see them signing, it means it's already done. That's the only reason why I brought specific this wish back on the table. I've been posting it out when I was in Brazil. I gave it some time and I put it back on the table. Please carry on with spreading this wish, make people aware of it so that we can all elevate to the next level, to a higher field strength. We have reached the critical mass, as Mish has confirmed, because we have reached those stages. Now we have to go to the next level. We are all working together. We are all evolving together. And we see the confirmation when we look around in the news and the broadcast, what is in response of our wishes. Now we have elevated to a faster way of working and a more solid way and a more beautiful way to work with wishes. That's why I brought them on the table today. Please go into the mandate, open it up, find more that you can adjust and see adjusting. Because the more you put the field strength to go towards as an intention of giving, then we can find the solutions and will bring solutions in the other fields as well. Because there was something else which was there. I hope I can go back to it. It's a quote of Mr. Keshe. The man has come from, he exists, operates through, and he shall return to the light. There is no time and there is no space. Man has created time to give himself existence and space to have something to exist in it. If you have a single atom in a cubic meter, that plasma will cover the whole cubic meter. God has been the creator of all and man the converter of some. Empty Keshe. And we thank you for your presence and sharing your beauty. Best wishes of the Universal Council to all of you. And this document is in the mandate. And go and read, if you haven't gotten the hint yet, how to accomplish your wish. You can find a lot of information there. And all of us, we are here to serve and not to be served. And every soul carries the ability of the knowledge between right and wrong. We, the Universal Council, through our own conduct, will show the path.
I was thinking, looking at the news, that we have already entered the royal palaces through our wishes. We're already inside. As Mr. Keshe said, not physically, but through our strength of our soul, we've actually gone through the gate and we are in there already. If you look at the news, and look at it the right way, you'll see that.
I think he also said it's an inside job.
We enter through the back door, he said. I think we sneak in. But we are already in. If you look at the news, we're already inside the royal palaces and so on.
It's interesting. It was, Prince, the royalty that was 60 years old today, but he got booted out of the Buckingham Palace because of his indiscretions with Jeffrey Epstein. So he doesn't get to have a 60th birthday party at the palace, and he's been stripped of all of his royal duties instead.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Yep.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, any more topics you want to share? Thank you, Raphael. The passage that was posted by Marcos in the Telegram group of Brasilia, Portuguese language, is from the 168th teaching of Mr. Keshe. It's amazing how beautiful, especially a part of it. It's amazing. The text is too long for it to be put here because it will just chop it all up in pieces. But maybe I can send it to Rick or to Flint, that you can bring it onto the platform. Oish. I'm trying to copy it. It brings a lot of understanding also how to reposition yourself when you are running into problems. I'm just trying, sorry for my tapping. Copy, okay. Can I send it to Yurik or to Flint? Where do you want me to send it to?
Either way should work.
Okay, I send it to you, Rick. And I'm going to add the link of where it came from. It's going to your Telegram. Is that okay, Rick?
It should be.
Okay. It's gone to you. If you can read it, Rick, it's absolutely amazing what it brings back.
You want me to read the whole thing?
If you can.
Holy cow, it's pretty long. Okay, sure. Do you want me to show it or just read it?
No, you can show it, please.
Okay, just a minute while I copy it over here.
I'm going to try to share it in... it's pasted all of it, I think. Yeah. In Facebook, in the comments, it's there. Apparently, it took all of it.
Okay, who is this from first before I read it all? Is this your comments or from someone else?
No. This is transcribed from Mr. Keshe 168 public platform.
Okay. Okay, so you want me to read this. All right, so I don't know why it says English and age at the top. English, age.
I don't know. It's just something that I copied because that's the most important part of that part of teaching. And it's so beautiful to understand for people which are working with wishes, and also how to reposition yourself if you are suffering from certain conditions. That's the reason why.
Okay, why does it say English and then age at the top? Am I supposed to say that?
I could know it copied it from I didn't even know from which teaching it was coming. It was Raphael who went to look it up for, because I took it. There are more parts, but this was the most important one. That can be removed because it's from, it means it's been posted in English.
Okay. Okay, let me read it then.
If you need help or support, you can pass it on to another one.
No, it's just
I
it's
think
just
you're
quite
good.
long. I didn't know where it came from here originally. So
It's at the bottom. The passage that Marcos posted in Telegram group is from the 168 KS workshop.
Right. Okay. So it goes like this. You feel that everything is possible, that there is infinite abundance everywhere and all the time. Now, this is an extreme version of the alignment experience, but it is possible and accessible. Whenever you are happy, you are downloading a version of this alignment. Mr. Keshe is teaching about self-confidence. Who's talking here? I don't understand. If it's is he saying Mr. Keshe saying Mr. Keshe is teaching about self-confidence? Or is this a comment on the knowledge seekers workshop?
Yeah, the comment, partially the
Okay, this is Marco's words then, right? Correct?
not
It's not Mr. Keshe's words. I'm trying to understand where this comes from, so I know how to speak about it here. I thought it was Mr. Keshe's words I was speaking, but it isn't.
It is the intertwinement of the two. Some part is coming from Mr. Keshe directly, and some part is as a comment or an explanation in the understanding of it. So you can't define, because I don't have the original transcribing text, but because it's put in a matter of understanding so easy, that's why I brought it forward. So it's an intertwining between a knowledge seeker and the teaching of Mr. Keshe from the 168 knowledge seeker.
Well, there should be quotation marks around Mr. Keshe's words. Otherwise, we're getting an interpretation of Mr. Keshe's words. And anyway, let me just read it and we'll go with that. Let me start again. You feel that everything is possible, that there is infinite abundance everywhere and all the time. Now, this is an extreme version of the alignment experience, but it is possible and accessible. Whenever you are happy, you are downloading a version of this alignment. Mr. Keshe is teaching about self-confidence. When you are close to your soul, when you feel the light shining, there is room for doubt. When you feel depressed or sad, not that these things are bad, not that they have to be removed, these feelings should not be ignored either. You need to understand that when you feel depressed, anxious, stressed, sad, suffering, or any of these ideas, these feelings, it is because you have positioned your vibratory perspective, your view of life, on a frequency that is out of alignment with the truth of your being. Just observe the reaction in your soul and physicality. You're not on the magnetic side of the plasma around you. You're not a donor when you're unhappy. With the correct understanding of your emotions, they would guide you to see your situation different. For example, if you adopt the perspective, I just lost my grandfather, or I just lost my dog, then this perspective of lack, that you are missing your dog, lack of love, feel abandoned by your dog, or your dog, grandpa, whatever is missing, you feel bad. But if your definitions of lack were true, it would be great to define life that way. If it were true that something was missing, you'd be ecstatic about it. With a different perspective, the same event would be amazing and exciting. We feel no pain because our grandfather died or because our dog died. We feel pain because the position we take on the subject, the point of view we take on what happened in the circumstances, is outside the vibrational alignment. Our position is removed from the light of the soul. The truth of my soul is that the nature it gives is real, and the bad situation I've been in has been misplaced because of a wrong definition. On the other hand, you can see an event like having lost your dog from the point of view of abundance. You can see it as there is an abundance of connection, or it has merged back into its true non-physical nature. Your soul will always be alive, and I am still connected. I can still communicate with the essence of this being. You can also think, now there are different ways your being can explore itself. It can evolve and move on to the next thing. He learned everything he had to learn from his physical life. We had a wonderful time, and will be wonderful moments in different ways. Simultaneously to that physical reality, unconscious of my conscious mind, but all right. These are just a few examples of how you can reformulate the same situation in a broader way, from a frequency of love, trust, appreciation, infinite abundance, and truth that there is never loss or lack of anything. So the same loss scenario for your dog suddenly looks pretty. It doesn't mean you can't shed a tear. That doesn't mean you're not releasing any emotional charge around everything you've accumulated over these years of friendship and companionship. That doesn't mean you're not sad in a way. However, you're not fundamentally existentially sad. You don't feel betrayed, you don't feel lost or alone, or you lack, and you don't feel disconnected from the universe. On the contrary, you feel aligned, you feel in truth, you feel connected. This does not mean you are not releasing any emotional charge around all that you have accumulated over these years of friendship and companionship. That doesn't mean you're not sad in a way. However, you are not fundamentally existentially sad. You don't feel betrayed, you don't feel lost or alone, or you lack, and you don't feel disconnected from the universe. On the contrary. Sorry, I think that last part is duplicated there. Anyway. So that was from Marcos.
Marcos Muniz posted this out, and there are more parts, but there are too many. And it's an accumulation of different teachings, which he referred to before, but because it's too long and we wouldn't be able to get through it. But this last part is so important because I remember Mr. Keshe going over that part. To let go of a soul, to let go, and how you can understand why, because this is a beautiful example. When you lose someone, you also can understand the positioning when something goes wrong in your life, why you get angry, why you get upset, why you get sad. And then the opposite side is when you create the opposite field strength, despite to be happy and to be joyful. That was a beautiful part in this, which I wanted to share with you because it just caught my eye. I read all of them. And that's why I said we can post it, because it's a confirmation came from Raphael. It's an accumulation of different parts of different teachings, but they put those together like, that's why I didn't add up for you, Rick. But that's the explanation from it. The simplistic understanding when you lose something, or you're sad, or you're angry, just reposition yourself. This was also in one of these explanation of the gentleman, which I posted the video around. That is, even you get angry, even you lose your temper, even you go sad, the one who created it for you is just a statement. But in reality, just bless the person instead of getting angry or give him a curse or give him a bad look. Just change your position and it will change your field strength. You won't lose it because you get angry. This is a very nice explanation, especially with the example of when you lose somebody. You can still shed a tear, but at the same time, you can rejoice their freedom, as Mr. Keshe explained in the bird in the cage. That bird has been released. It's all how you position yourself, no matter what happens. And I thank Mr. Keshe for all his beautiful teachings and knowledge he has released to us. And we are growing into more and more. As Jalal said yesterday, he said, he says, I'm 24 hours living with Mr. Keshe. He's always in my head and I'm always with his teachings. So he has become a very good librarian of what you want to know, just ask, they find it for you. And so many other knowledge seekers that are actually speeding up the spreading of the knowledge. I thank you all, and we cannot do it without you. So acknowledge, I am a knowledge seeker, I am a beauty, and I am a sharing soul. And then the gifts will come more and more and more easy and faster. And I thank you all for today's platform to position these beautiful wishes all together and send them out, please. And see them realized, see them walking, see them in action, then you create a wish in the reality. You give it its life form, like you walk in the rain, you taste the rain, you feel the rain, you smell the rain. Do exactly the same with your wish, and everything will change. And I am present in all the wishes.
I am present. Thank you, Carolina.
I am present.
I'm present.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present.
I am
I
present.
am present. I am present.
I am present.
Rick, I think it's time we can close the books. Anybody, any more questions?
We had Dean with his hand up here, and maybe he wanted to say something to him.
This is Dean. Peace. I just wanted to put into record, just like Prince Charles is no longer in the castle.
It's not Prince Charles. I think it's Prince Andrew.
Andrews, okay. Thank you very much. But
Yes,
yesterday or the other day, President Trump signed an executive order making it a federal offense, punishable by 7 years for cruelty to animals. And I would say that that is raising it's elevating the soul of our nation and of the animals. That's all I wanted to add.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you, hosts and co-hosts, and knowledge seekers, council members, and Universal Council support members, core teams, and Earth Councils with your presence today. Anybody, any more wishes or any more questions?
Hello, Carolina. This is Ted from West Virginia.
Hi, Ted.
I wanted to say that I'm present with the wish today and the collection of wishes. And I wanted to say that the wishes that connect to the children have been especially important to me. And I think that I can feel the difference since 2 or 3 years ago when all the wishes really started, when I started participating in the wishes. I can see the difference in everything. And I can feel the difference in the Trump, and I just see it all around. And I just want to say thank you and that I'm present in the wishes because I can feel it.
Thank you, and you're more than welcome. You're a creator. Just make sure that the wishes carry on, vivid living, and it will establish more change.
Well, I fell like hills and valleys. I fell into a valley, and I can just feel the hill coming so quick right now. It's so easy to get on right now. I feel now's the time. I just really do resonate with it very strongly. Thank you.
This is Nikolai in Canada. I had an appointment, so I didn't catch the last hour or so. But I wanted to share, and perhaps this is redundant, but this morning's teaching in Alex Skorick's class, it was very interesting. We had Alex present a wish, and we had whole bunch of knowledge seekers jump all over him to change the field strength into a different position. And I just want to share from where I was at when I first joined the teachings in the classroom in February of the beginning of this year until now, how absolutely huge the shift is. And I understand that some people have been here for many years, and so perhaps it's harder to track the progress, or we think we should be here already, or we should be further. Guys, it's beyond me to just understand how fast things are shifting, how fast the environment around us is altered itself. And I know that this platform here that Rick acknowledged because I'm participating in is a massive reason why. And so I want to applaud everybody for their participation and the many thousands of wishes I'm sure that have been processed through this teaching have really come to show themselves and their beauty. And I just want to say that I am present in all of the wishes that were presented today, even if I didn't hear half of them. I know if I listen back that I will be present with them all. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Nikolai.
Thank you, Nikolai. The beauty is that you're manifesting themselves. The more you manifest them and bring them to life, the more you will see the change. It's just be part of the change. And now more beautiful and more correct. And most probably we will have another shift in a few months' time or a few years' time to readjust again, that we don't even need to use our voice or writing them down to create the wish. Just be the wish. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Carolina. I think that's it for our workshop today, it looks like. I think we've covered everybody's input here, so far as I can tell. Very good. Thank you, everybody, for participating in today's 97th One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace on Tuesday, November 26, 2019. It's been a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department, part of the Public Teachings in English. And I thank Flint as the co-producer here. And thank you so much, Carolina, for guiding us through another workshop here today. Okay, there's also announced the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group will be at 7 a.m. Central European Time on Wednesday, or 10 p.m. Pacific Time Tuesday, which is today. Okay, thanks everyone, and we'll see you in the Knowledge Seekers Workshop as well on Thursday. Bye for now.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all the beings in the universe. By teaching the plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. Your donation helps us in achieving this goal. Donate to keshefoundation.org/donate.